Hi there guys, welcome back to another video. Today you join me for episode 2 of the Co-op career mode here for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, where we will see who is the best Tom. After all, the battle of the Toms continue. As you can see here, we are just going through the menus here. As you can see, we're looking at the research and development, seeing which areas of the car that we can improve. However, with our current amount of resource points, there are no upgrades that we can make currently. But yeah, looking at the R&D, I can see that ourselves in the McLaren, we have the best power unit, we have the best top speed. And looking in other areas at the aero and the chassis, Tom in his Ferrari looks to be a lot stronger than us, as you can see here on the progress. As you can see, Tom is slightly ahead of us here heading into the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. So yeah, he's getting a bit of performance in hand on us. As you would have seen in the last episode, we had a bit of bad luck with our upgrades, and yeah, it really didn't help. It set us back a little bit going into this weekend, but yeah, hopefully our fortune will not be as bad going into future weekends. So here we go guys, heading off into qualifying for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. As you can see, going for the soft tyres again, heading through the last corner to start off the lap. Here we go with the one-shot qualifying that we're accustomed to, as we head past the line now on the run to turn 1 with the use of DRS, just looking to position the car perfectly here into turn 1, hitting the brakes at the perfect time just to get through turns 1, turns 2 and turns 3, which all lead into one another here as we head down towards turn 4, turns 5, but we've ran way too deep here into turn 5, losing a lot of time. At this part of the lap, it's all about getting my head down and trying to claim back some of that time that we lost from earlier in the lap here. Heading through this sequence of corners, getting a good run. This corner always catches me out on the F1 game. A very tricky corner to go through. As you can see, they're just wide of the apex. But coming up to this chicane, this is one of my favourite corners on this track. Nailing the apex on both of these corners and a good exit, leading us down towards the final cluster of corners here in Imola. Hitting the braking point perfectly into the first one and again into the second one, leading out of the final corner. Here we are coming onto the final straight. Where will we end up in qualifying here? And across the line. So here we are then, looking at the standings for qualifying. We are P8, a second behind the pole sitter Max Verstappen. Tom down there in 12th, a further 3/10 off us. Not a bad effort, but looking at his teammate Charles Leclerc, he's about 4/10 off there, and we are about, oh wow, we're 8/10 off Lando Norris. But here we go, looking forward to a very interesting race with the grid as it is. Here we are, heading onto the grid and ready for the race to start. So, here we are, finally getting the 5 lights up on our screen, and it's 5 lights. And away we go, and we actually get a better start than the Ferrari alongside us, Charles Leclerc, heading through the gears using that ERS there to go past Charles Leclerc, holding the inside, and we are up into P6. But Foxy Dude there, I believe, had a bit of a lunge up the inside, not realising that I was there and would be turning in. So I think Foxy Dude has had a spin, I believe. So that's not very good for the start of his race, but hopefully he can pick up some places and get back in the race. As we head here through this sequence of corners, and his teammate Charles Leclerc going for a very audacious move into that left-hander as we head into the tricky right that I always mess up and have messed up again here. Trying not to lose any time to those cars around me, but out of this corner, always getting a good exit and redeeming myself for that previous corner as we are a second ahead of Charles Leclerc currently. But yeah, it's been a decent first lap. We've gained a good few places on where we started, starting down in P8, ending the first lap up in P5, and it's been a very successful start to the Grand Prix with Max Verstappen setting the fastest lap. As here we go, heading on to lap number 6. Not much has happened since you was last with me, everybody. We are just trying to close the gap any way we can to Hamilton and our teammate Lando Norris up ahead, as they look to be in a little bit of a fight. As you can see, the gap is coming down, but also the gap to Charles Leclerc is coming down there as we've made a mistake through those series of corners, and he is right on our tails now. So we were looking forward to 3rd and 4th places, but in reality we've made a mistake, and 6th place is right up behind us, and we have to focus on that for the immediate future and trying to pull away from the Ferrari, as the gap is less than half a second now, so we could be vulnerable under DRS as we make a mistake there also coming out of that corner. But heading through this corner as we always do, getting a good exit and gaining a little bit of time on Charles Leclerc as the gap now goes up to a more comfortable 0.8 of a second. Onto the start finish straight we come here, heading up towards lap number 7 with Leclerc sitting 7/10 behind us. I don't think he'll overtake us on this straight, but crucially this lap is our pit window, so to have a very good in lap and try and see if we can close the gap on either of the cars in front and make sure that we solidify our P5 ahead of Charles Leclerc in this race.
No issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them. Green flag.
And here we are now, heading up towards the pit lane on lap number 7 to strap on a new set of tyres, going for the mediums to the end of the Grand Prix for 8 laps as Verstappen comes in and Norris stays out for another lap. Hamilton also in as we cut to coming out of the pit lane right behind Lewis Hamilton, and hopefully if we can get a good out lap and set some good sectors, maybe not purple but green sectors, hopefully we'll be able to close the gap to Lando. As you can see here, the gap to Lewis Hamilton only 1.2 seconds as we leave the pit lane, but automatically it has already gone to 1.6. But yeah, hopefully that's saying something, that the gap to Lando will be a lot closer than what it was before we came in for the pit stops. But just looking at us here, we're a little bit tentative on our outlap on this new set of tyres, just looking to find where the level of grip is in comparison to the softs that we had on beforehand. Yeah, but a very interesting thing that I have seen in this race that has enabled us to push forward and attack rather than defend is I've seen that Charles Leclerc for some reason has come out on hard compound tyres instead of mediums that would easily make it to the end of the race here. So effectively Charles Leclerc has ruined any chance of him getting P5 in this Grand Prix, pitting for hard tyres and making his race pace so much slower than it needed to be. So that frees us up here to hopefully have a run at Lando Norris as we start lap 9. Where will he be as he comes out of the pit lane? Here he is, just ahead of us, Lando Norris on the right hand side. As we brake for turn 1, we're just behind him. We did not do enough there to overtake him. But here we are, later in the lap, Lando Norris is stuck behind Mick Schumacher, and it is for position, of course. So here we go, Lando Norris going side by side. But we brake late, getting distracted by both of them. As we come through the last corner now, it is in fact a virtual safety car here. A virtual safety car has been called, and Mick Schumacher comes straight into the pits, which enables us to be right on Lando Norris's tail come the restart. And talking about the start of the restart, we'll need to get a very good launch off of the corner whenever it ends to give us a good run, as here you can see, coming out of our favourite corner on this Imola track, the safety car is ending, which means we will have a run on Lando Norris going into turn 1 here, as we're getting really close up to the back of him, 0.4 of a second. It's very important to nail these 2 corners and get a great exit to unleash that performance onto the front straight, as here we go, using all of that ERS and DRS, as you can see there, just looking to make sure our wings open. Here we go, turning to the outside line to try and go past Lando Norris, braking late and going through, but oh, Lando Norris has T-boned us here. Lando Norris has hit us round. What on earth has gone on there from Lando Norris? Oh, I don't know, but that has completely and utterly ruined our race.
Emotional, damn it!
I cannot believe what has just happened. We have thrown away so many points in this race, especially Lando Norris, and we've done it again. We've spun again. Here we go now, guys, coming back on the track after our second incident in a very short amount of time, and just the feeling I'm getting from the car and the tyres on the track is there's no grip at all at this point after what Lando Norris did to us. So much so that Mick Schumacher's looking to come up the inside here, as yep, we've side pod glitched with him and no more grip, and we've spun straight into the wall.
That looked bad.
Just do a George Michael.
Let me know you're all right.
Here we go, guys, we have crashed out of the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix after such a promising race it has been, where it looked like not only myself but McLaren were on for a fantastic double point finish. And yeah, that is just how Formula 1 is for you. It's very unpredictable and anything can happen. So here we are now in spectator mode, just watching Tom, seeing where he is. He's currently 19th in the race after his problems at the start, and I believe some further issues. He was unable to get back any places in this race, so we're just watching him. Well, no, currently watching Lewis Hamilton, the best driver of all time. Oh, that will set off some big discussions in the comments, I know for sure. Well, in my opinion, he's the best driver in all time. Feel free to let me know in the comments who you think is the best driver of all time, to start a little discussion down there. But anyway, moving on, we are on lap 12. There is a safety car, and will Foxy Dude, aka Tom 2, be able to get himself onto the back of the queue? Here we are on board with a wild Foxy Dude 98, who has indeed been disqualified from the session for ignoring yellow flags, and I believe he was trying to overtake the safety car. So Foxy Dude Tom has been disqualified from the session, and we crash out after a very unfortunate, well, I would describe as unfortunate incident with Lando Norris that has led to us spinning out a further 2 times and crashing out. Full respect to Verstappen for getting first, Perez second, and third for Lewis Hamilton in the end. But yeah, a very anticlimactic race in the way of ourselves and for Tom as well. He would have liked to have done better considering where his teammate finished in today's race. I think P4 in the end for Charles Leclerc. Here we go. Looking at the final results, yes, it's a Red Bull 1-2 with Hamilton third, we know that, and Charles Leclerc did get fourth in the end with Vettel, Alonso, Tsunoda, Stroll, Giovinazzi and George Russell of all people rounding out the top 10. My teammate Lando Norris in the end only 13th, and myself and Tom at the bottom after DNFing. There will not be any upgrades for the rest of this video. We will do that next time out when we go to the Portuguese Grand Prix, but for now, just trying to move on and forget about this weekend. It's been a bad weekend. Hopefully we can do better in Portugal, and hopefully claw back some of those points on Tom, as we still are yet to score after 2 rounds, whereas Tom is 15 points up the road on us. I'll make sure to leave his link in the description as always. Please make sure to go and subscribe to Tom. Take care everyone, stay safe, see ya.